Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
This time,
Let's do it.
we're exploring something
Right?
pretty fascinating
I love it.
and maybe a little bit controversial.
Oh.
We're diving deep into Easter in 2025.
All right.
And I think a lot of people,
Yeah.
they think of Easter as,
Just like
the Easter bunny and
bunnies.
yeah, and just kind of a, fun little holiday.
For sure.
But we've got this real interesting source in Spanish
Okay.
called Pascua 2025. Significado, historia y tradiciones.
I love that.
And
that's awesome.
It's really giving us some insider knowledge
yeah.
about, what Easter really is all about.
I'm excited.
So if you're like me and you're maybe getting ready for a family get together,
Yeah.
or you just want to, drop some knowledge on your friends.
Impress people. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're just curious like me
Yeah.
about what this holiday is really all about. This is the deep dive for you.
Let's get into it.
So one of the things that I found really interesting
Okay.
is that, we always think of Easter as like, the bunny and the eggs and
Yeah.
maybe going to church for some people.
Uh-huh.
But did you know that Easter is actually tied to the lunar calendar?
Oh, yeah. That's a great point. And, a lot of people don't realize that it's not like Christmas.
Right.
Christmas is always December 25th.
Right.
Easter. It's a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a little more mysterious.
Yeah. It's all about
How did that work?
the lunar calendar.
Yeah.
So basically what they talk about in Pascua 2025 is that Easter is determined by the first full moon
Okay.
after the spring equinox.
So when spring starts, we're like watching the moon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking for that full moon, and then bam.
Now.
The Sunday after that, that's Easter Sunday.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's very connected to nature. I think in a way that a lot of us have kind of forgotten about.
Yeah. It makes it feel so much older, too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Thousands of years old, this tradition.
And speaking of ancient traditions,
Yeah.
I found this really interesting part in Pascua 2025
Okay.
where they talk about the connection between Easter
Uh-huh.
and Passover.
Yes.
Fascinating. And I have to admit, I
Yeah.
never really made that connection before.
It's not something you think about every day,
No.
but it's really profound when you stop and think about it.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about
Yeah.
how are those two holidays connected?
So, the Last Supper is a really important
Right.
event for Christians, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know that the Last Supper was actually a Passover Seder.
Well, wait, what?
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
So Passover, this Jewish holiday
Yeah.
commemorating the liberation of the Israelites from Egypt.
Okay.
And it's all about, freedom and new beginnings.
Yeah.
And the Last Supper, where Jesus shared that meal with his disciples before his crucifixion.
Right.
That was a Seder, which is a
Wow.
special ritual meal at the heart of Passover.
So both Easter and Passover are kind of about these ideas of new life and
Liberation.
liberation.
At
Yeah.
the coming of spring,
Wow. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And there's another kind of ancient connection that our source mentions, and that's the possible connection between Easter and a figure named Eostre.
Ostre.
Eostre.
Because
So Eostre is an Anglo-Saxon goddess,
okay.
and she's associated with spring and new beginnings.
Okay.
And some scholars believe that the name Easter might actually come from her name.
So Easter could be named after a goddess.
That's the theory.
Wow.
It's not definitively proven.
Right.
But the symbolism is really fascinating. Both Easter and the idea of Eostre represent this triumph of life over death.
Yeah.
The coming of spring, the
Yeah.
promise of renewal.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So we've got this holiday
Yeah.
that's connected to, ancient goddesses,
Mm-hmm.
Passover, the lunar calendar.
Exactly.
It's a lot more than just,
For sure.
chocolate bunnies and.
Yeah, there's so much depth there
Yeah.
to uncover.
And speaking of uncovering and diving deeper,
Okay.
our source mentions
Yeah.
some really interesting Easter traditions,
Yes.
particularly from Spain and the Philippines.
Yeah, there are some really amazing traditions around the world.
Yeah. So what kind of things are we talking about here?
They talk about these vibrant passion plays in Spain.
Passion plays.
Yeah,
Of
where
Spain.
entire communities will reenact
Wow.
the events leading up to Jesus' crucifixion.
That sounds really
Really powerful stuff.
intense.
Very moving. Yeah. And then you've got these incredible processions in Seville.
Okay.
with these ornate floats,
Wow.
religious icons, music filling the streets.
Wow, so Easter's like a huge party.
It's a huge celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some parts of the world.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to see the different ways it's celebrated.
Yeah, and of course, we can't talk about Easter without talking about the food.
Of course not.
Right.
That's everyone's favorite part.
So what
What are we eating?
Yeah, what kind of traditional Easter food?
Well, you've got your lamb.
Okay.
You've got your ham.
Yeah.
Your hot cross buns.
Of course, the hot cross buns.
Yeah, those are delicious.
I love those.
And it's interesting, they talk about the lamb in particular, how it symbolizes sacrifice and new life.
Yeah.
Which, again, ties back into those core themes of Easter.
It all comes back to that, yeah.
It really does.
Well, I have to say, this has been a really fascinating deep dive. I feel like I learned so much about Easter.
Me too.
That I never knew before.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can uncover when you start digging into these holidays and traditions.
And I love that we had this source in Spanish.
Yeah.
It really gave us a different
perspective.
Yeah, a different perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
On this holiday.
For sure.
So thank you to everyone for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
For this deep dive into Easter.
Absolutely.
And, as you're celebrating this year, whether it's with family or friends or, just quiet reflection.
Here's something to think about.
Yeah.
Now that, Easter is linked to the lunar calendar, Passover, and potentially even an ancient goddess.
Right.
How does that change your view of the holiday?
That's a really good question.
Something to ponder.
Yeah.
As you're enjoying those chocolate bunnies this year.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
See you on the next Deep Dive.